The original Bama Football Tailgate Show is on the air. Alabama football is rolling, and we got you covered with a breakdown of the game matchup, an SEC preview, and all the fun of an afternoon on the quad with former Crimson Tide Sports Network broadcaster and SEC Network play-by-play voice, Mick Gillispie. The Bama Football Tailgate Show is presented by Yuengling Lager. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. The only beer you need at a Bama tailgate party. Pearl River Resort Casino and Hotel in Choctaw, Mississippi. Let's play. Now featuring the sports book at the Timeout Lounge. Also brought to you by the Flora-Bama, world-famous beach bar and lounge in Orange Beach, Alabama. Genesis of Tuscaloosa, luxury with a national championship service department. Sevierville, your Smokies start here. Visit Sevierville.com. Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Hyundai, the longer you look, the more there is to like. R&R Cigars, home of the Cigar Mansion and Victory Cigar. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa. Unique Bar on the Strip, home of the NFL, MLB, Premier League package. Catch all the games at Unique. Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports. Not too small, not too big. Tuscaloosa is pronounced just right. Visit Tuscaloosa.com. Pond Royale, located at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. And NewLifeArt.com, publisher of Fine Art Editions by Daniel A. Moore. Use the code Bama Tailgate for a discount at NewLifeArt.com. Now your host of the Tailgate Show, Mick Gillispie.
And welcome to the Flora-Bama, and welcome to the original Bama Tailgate Show as we talk Alabama football each and every game day, and we're doing that today. The show is always presented by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery, and for the next 2 hours, we're going to talk about number 10, Alabama. Yeah, I know that's a little bit of a lower numbering than we're used to, right? Ranking anyway. They're taking on South Florida, Raymond James Stadium, 2:30. And on today's show, we got a really good group to kind of break this thing down and talk about the direction of the Alabama football program, starting with the last quarterback that can explain to us exactly what it's like to lose this early in the season and come back and win the championship. That's right, Jake Coker from the 2015 Alabama winning football team, the quarterback from Roll Tide Pods on YouTube, host of Elephant in the Room. That's a podcast. He's going to jump on. We're going to talk to him on the show today. We got Thom Abraham from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, host of the Thom Abraham Show, jumping on. Andrew Bone, our longtime buddy from Bama Online, part of On3, the sports network out of Nashville, taking over recruiting. He's the best in the business, and he's going to be on as well. Kenny White from Vegas with Reagan from R&R Cigars for our pick segment. We got Steve Powers, our good buddy from the Flora-Bama, and we're at the Flora-Bama. He's going to tell us all about being at the Flora-Bama, what it's like to be at the Flora-Bama, football at the Flora-Bama. Kenny Stabler at the Flora-Bama. Remember, he used to hang out here a lot. So we're going to talk to him. And then coming up on the next segment, one of my good buddies, and I'm a big fan of this guy's, Chris Bryan from WPNN in Pensacola, host of the Morning Report, one of my favorite programs. And a guy who has spent a lifetime in this business, and I can't wait to hang out with him. Maybe give him a bushwhacker or something while I'm here at the Flora-Bama. Hey, guys, this is the Bama Football Tailgate Show, the original Bama Football Tailgate Show on YouTube, Bama Tailgate. Be part of our channel. And, again, we're brought to you by Yuengling Lager, a sixth-generation company. Our friend Cheryl Yuengling, yeah, part of the company's ownership, proud Americans, proud Alabama grad, went from Pottsville, Pennsylvania to Tuscaloosa, graduated from Alabama, and she puts a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles. All kind of great Yuenglings out there right now, though. You got Yuengling Flight if you want an alternative to Mick Ultra. You also have the Oktoberfest that's available right now. Hershey Porter, that's out there too. So a lot of great choices with Yuengling, or just stick with the original Yuengling Lager. All right, let's talk about this. Alabama 1-1 against South Florida at South Florida. Kind of a weird matchup, one that you really wouldn't see a whole lot. Alabama doesn't go on the road to play teams that they're going to be a 31-point favorite or 32 or whatever it is, depending on what book you use. Of course, we use Pearl River Resort. But it's because Alabama doesn't play those games. Last time I think they played one of these was against Duke, and they went in there and won by 60. So it's a 2-for-1. Tampa is a recruiting hotbed, and I think that's one of the reasons why Alabama is playing this. But also, it's a good week to have one of these games after what we saw against Texas, and that's something that we're going to get into a lot on the show. But really, the big story's been all week, whether it was going to be Jalen Milroe, who struggled with the 2 interceptions last week, didn't get a lot of help from Seth McLaughlin, his center, a lot of bad snaps. The offensive line didn't do a good job. He didn't help himself, and it appears that Alabama is going with Tyler Buchner, I beg your pardon. And Buchner came to Alabama from Notre Dame. So did Tommy Rees, right, the new offensive coordinator. So maybe that's what they're trying to do as they look to get things righted here, and they don't have a lot of time to do it. After this week, you got Ole Miss in the SEC schedule. That is going to be extremely tough. All right, let me tell you about the world-famous Flora-Bama. For those of you that haven't been to Perdido Key, you haven't been to Orange Beach, you haven't been here yet, I know no one listening can't say that they haven't. I mean, everybody's been here, but this is one of the top beach bars in the entire world, if not the top beach bar. I mean, we are like right – I could throw a stone into the Gulf of Mexico. We're in front of the main bar on the beach side, and then a lot of you guys come down here, and you know that on the other side of the street is the Yacht Club and Old River Grill. But this has become just a metropolis of beach life. One of the things I'm going to ask Steve Powers about is all the tributes coming in to the guy that represented the beach like none other, and that's Jimmy Buffett, because we haven't been here since we lost Jimmy Buffett. Back to Alabama. We talked about Buchner being the new quarterback. Is this a wake-up call, or is Alabama trending in the wrong direction? And I think that is the theme of this entire show. That's what we've got to figure out. Last year, Alabama, a lot of penalties, didn't get many turnovers on defense, turned the ball over. They won games because they had the best quarterback in the country. They don't have that advantage this year. And it's only one game against Texas. But when you talk about the offense, defense didn't get much of a pass rush. Couldn't have gone worse for Alabama, and they only lost by 10. Is this a trend, or is this a wake-up call? And we'll find out. Raymond James Stadium today, 2:30. I want to see this team, how they're going to block, how they're going to they're going to move the football, how they're going to throw the mid-range passes, the intensity that they bring. And I think that as we look back at the Texas game, no coach has ever done a better job at motivating a team after a loss than Nick Saban. 2003, they got hammered by Florida. He's at LSU. They end up winning the national championship. That's the last time Nick Saban's coached a team that lost by more than 10 at home. So we'll see if he's able to do that again. All right, we're going to talk with Chris Bryan coming up, but let me remind you guys that you want to pimp out your man cave, you need to go to New Life Art. Use the code Bama Tailgate or Mick Gillispie for a discount. The calendars are in right now. They're fantastic. I love the prints. We're actually giving away a Jalen Hurts print when our YouTube channel, Bama Tailgate, reaches 1,000, and that's going to be here in the very near future. So make sure that you check that out and be part of New Life Art in your house. The Daniel Moore is the best in the business. All right. The Bama Football Tailgate Show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort and Casino in Choctaw. Now is a great time to make your picks count. at the Timeout Sports Lounge and Sportsbook. Chris Bryan from WPNN in Pensacola jumping on the show when we come back. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk more Bama football right after this.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Hey y'all, it's Jennifer from the Flora-Bama, and it's time for Flora-Bama Fun Facts. The Flora-Bama first opened in 1964, and we're celebrating our 59th year of doing it on the line. We host over 150 events every year, including Mullet Toss, Oktoberfest, Halloween Costume Party, Frank Brown Songwriters, Thanksgiving and Christmas Potluck, the biggest New Year's Eve party, and of course, the Polar Bear Plunge on January 1st. All the events, including our live music schedule, are available online at florabama.com.
Immerse yourself in the continuing dynasty of Alabama football with The Legacy Continues, a visually striking image from artist Daniel A. Moore. This sequel to Moore's 1992 sold-out painting, The Crimson Legacy, features iconic moments and memorabilia from the last 30 seasons of Tide football. Don't miss your opportunity to own this lasting tribute sure to be cherished by Bama fans for years to come. Pre-order The Legacy Continues now at danielmooreart.com.
Yuengling, America's oldest brewery, has been making beer in America for 6 generations. And for nearly 200 years, we've been all about bringing the good times. By hand, by foot, by bike, by bikers, by fanny pack or jetpack, by whatever means necessary. With Yuengling Traditional Lager, good times taste even better. Yuengling, bring the goods.
R&R Cigars invites you to the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa. The best cigar selection and bourbon in the Southeast awaits you. 2703 6th Street, downtown Tuscaloosa, near Home 2 Suites, or Northport, next to Winn-Dixie. TheCigarMansion.com.
See yourself in Sevierville, Tennessee. Your Smokies start here.
This is My Great Escape,
where there's real gaming excitement.
And I can be who I want to be.
In a sea of slots. Taking in the big pots.
And always doubling down.
Our friends ask, what do y'all do at Pearl River Resort? No work.
All play.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Just keeping it real, baby.
Real players.
Real winning.
Real fun.
At Pearl River Resort.
Back at the Flora-Bama as we talk Alabama and South Florida football. Really more about Alabama than South Florida. That's a 2:30 kickoff, Raymond James Stadium. Raymond James Stadium, a guy where Red Leonard spent a lot of time with the Crimson Tide as he rolls by here. You never know who you're going to run into at the Flora-Bama. And it is great to have Chris Bryan on, host of the Morning Report, WPNN Radio, Pensacola. Of course, our show on Fox Sports Radio in Pensacola. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, it's kind of a unique atmosphere because usually I'm on the other side listening to you on my app. The app is the greatest thing since sliced cheese. And I encourage all of our listeners, hey, if you can't pick it up on 103.7, pop over to the app. WPNN app, and you've got it right there. We've got Bama football in just a bit coming up today, so that should be quite a game. I know the folks in South Florida, or we should say Central Florida, USF folks, are kind of happy they're not having the conditions that the FSU folks are having up in Boston this morning, because they're playing BC, kickoff at 11 o'clock up there. And as we speak, they've got a pretty nasty storm coming on shore with tropical storm winds 30 to 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, we know all about that down here on the coast, right?
Too much.
Hurricane Ivan actually, 2004, wiped out this bar.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they rebuilt this place, the Flora-Bama, they rebuilt it so that if a hurricane comes, like when Sally came, they pull all the windows and everything out, and they just say, okay, well, you can have the whole bottom floor. And then everybody comes in and scoops up all the sand, and they roll again.
Yeah, they got to push the first floor is a push floor, and it's smart because most people on the islands now, the key here over on Santa Rosa Island on the Pensacola side, they design their homes like that now.
Right.
Because it's simply easier just to wash it out and start over from the bottom level than have to pick up the whole darn thing. Mick, I got to tell you what was funny, and I know you've seen this before, but I watched the closed feeds of Nick Saban after the games.
Yeah.
Boy, what a difference in the atmosphere this week compared to usual weeks. But did you look closely? And I thought this was really funny because I grew up watching Bear Bryant, in his Saturday afternoon Bama show.
Right.
He always had, the two things he always had on set. He always had that golden flake potato chips and a Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I noticed this season, if you look at the podium, Saban's got the Coca-Cola on the podium.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He used it as a crystal ball a couple weeks ago.
Gosh.
He said, hey, if this was a crystal ball. Chris, let me talk about you.
Yeah.
You've had this long, illustrious career in broadcasting. Kind of tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, it started, my uncle was the original voice of the Howdy Doody show in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And so that's how I got my break, was in Los Angeles on KMPC radio, which is now, it is the Fan.
Oh, yeah.
In Los Angeles, 710.
Yeah.
But so it kind of evolved from there, doing a lot of different things in like music radio, but then I started using my college experience and work there. And so I went into the news talk side of the equation.
Right.
But I got this big break. It was in Southern California in the late 80s. Had a guy named John Gardner. He was head of Fast Television, which is First Auto Sports Television up in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, hey, this guy named Bill Daniels wants to meet you. He's in Denver. Can you go meet him? Well, we ended up launching and creating the Prime Sports Network, which is Fox Sports today.
Wow.
It's owned by Liberty Media.
Yeah.
John Malone and his crew from TCI in Denver. They put it all together, but we did that. We did Fox News operations, brought it all here. I really capitalized on the fact being with that sports network for years on how to negotiate contracts with professional teams for specific markets.
Right.
And that's a real key because not all markets are the same.
Right.
So we did this as a perfect example here in the Pensacola market. I came in what we called checkerboard of the market. We did some really deep research to find out, okay, who are the teams really liked here?
Yeah.
And how is it stacked? By the way, folks, there's no competition in terms of popularity. Alabama wins hands down.
Yeah,
it is
that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, well, that's the number
Bama
one
football
team.
in the panhandle. I mean, right? Tell me about that.
I grew up with a guy named Bonzel Cotton. We called him EB. Biggest Alabama fan you ever saw in your life. We would sit on a stoop, buy a big bushel of raw oysters, pop the oysters, and listen to Alabama football on radio.
Yeah. John Forney days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, John Forney, great.
So we grew up in the old days. Real quick, my sister was at Alabama when Joe Namath was there.
Really?
And they used to hide him out because the Bear wouldn't let him back in the A dorm because he would come in late from partying.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, the girls would hide him in the girls' dorm. Namath spent an enormous amount of time in the girls' dorm at Alabama in those days. That had to be in the late 60s, probably.
Yeah,
late 60s.
And he was back to pick the Alabama game last week. The Tide lost to Texas, and pretty disappointing loss. I mean, and we're really – Jake Coker's coming up next, who won in 2015.
I'm a fan, first of all.
Yeah, he's awesome, and we're going to get into all this. But let me just – while we're at the Flora-Bama – You were telling me, before we went on about coming out here and watching, concerts and stuff.
Yeah,
and
the Jimmy Buffett environmental concert that they did was a big free concert right out here outside where we're standing.
Right.
20,000, 25,000 people were out here. And what a concert that was, because all the funds were to protect our beaches.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, is protecting the beaches. I come from an environmental background.
Yeah.
I taught a lot of environmental science in my day.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible what they're doing in a lot of our communities and a lot of our cities with their recycling programs. It's a shame because they're taking a big step backwards. Before I make a transition here, I do want to talk to you about Nick Saban for a real quick second.
Go ahead.
Because what he really keyed in on this week, and I was listening to every single different day that he would share his wisdom, if you will. But boy, he was ticked at the false starts at that offensive line.
Yeah.
He really wasn't pleased.
I was surprised by that, Chris. I mean, I was surprised by the lack of discipline on the offensive line.
Yeah. It wasn't the caliber.
It's just not the Alabama way.
That's what I'm saying.
Normally, and that's one of the concerns to me. It's all over the place watching this team that is having so many problems just doing the basics.
Right. It's questionable at best, but I think we're going to right the ship this week.
Okay.
Well, I think the Texas game was a wake-up call. And I know that's really a cop-out, but I really do, because I know on the side over at LSU, when they got popped in their game against FSU, the coach came out and said, "You are a bunch of imposters."
Yeah.
Fired them up.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they had a big
and Nick Saban really doesn't do that. That's not his style to. I'm sure he's saying that in practice.
Right.
He took responsibility for it.
He did. He actually did.
And he also, I thought this was interesting, his Thursday press conference, or that was Wednesday press conference. He's like, somebody asked about, there's a lot of former players that are upset about the direction things are going, right? And they're calling out the other players and the team. And Nick Saban said, "Hey, you know what? That they're right to do that. We didn't get the job done." He's like, in the real world, if you don't get the job done, you get fired.
Yeah,
you can't feed your family. And I thought that was a really good life lesson from Coach Saban.
I think Coach Saban's going through some adversities this year that he hasn't faced in quite a while.
Right.
And you were talking in your monologue opening here about, Nick Saban. Remember, he was the coach over at LSU for a while.
Right.
They got a national championship under their belt thanks to Nick Saban.
Yeah, and it was a big loss that they suffered at the beginning of the year to Florida.
And but you know what? When that all transpired, of course, he left the Baton Rouge area and he went down to Miami and did that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't stay very long.
No,
and
he lost college.
I think he lost the trust of a lot of fans in terms of staying in one place, and he did. And he picked Alabama, luckily so, because he's one of the greatest coaches that ever went through Alabama.
Let me ask you this. I got to tell you, I'm excited to hear Chris Stewart on the call today.
Me too.
Chris is we've talked a lot about Eli Gold, who's been coming back from some health issues.
Right.
And I'm really excited about Chris is doing the road games and Eli's doing the home games. Now, I've never heard of this before, but you know what? That's what's going on.
It works. And Chris Stewart, I got a chance to meet him at the Alabama meeting last year. Not this year, but last year. And was he here? Yeah, he was here this year. I was with you guys. That's right. But absolutely, Chris Stewart's a pro. He's good. And he fills Eli's shoes, not replaces Eli's shoes, but fills Eli's shoes extremely well.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And it's, it'll be good to have him back on the call. He did a fantastic job last year. It's hard to beat Father Time, and Alabama's lucky to have Chris Stewart because, he's in his prime right now.
Oh, he really is. And I was so surprised. Well, maybe that's a bad word. I was pleased when Eli called that game. It sounded amazing. He was right there in the saddle, and he just was rocking,
Yeah, like old times again.
Yeah,
huh?
It really was.
Best tailgate you ever went to?
Oh, I think it probably had to be, and I'll tell you the funny story. We always go back home to Louisiana, and there's a place up in Gramercy, Louisiana. And on Christmas Eve, it's called the Burning of the Bonfires. And what they do on the levees, and they start building these things in June.
Really?
And the structures are house-size structures.
Yeah.
And at 7 o'clock exactly in Gramercy, they start torching the bonfires.
Really?
And they go back towards New Orleans. And it's a great tradition because as tradition holds with the burning of the bonfires, it was a way for Santa to find his way into New Orleans.
Well, of course. I mean, of course. Santa Claus needs to find his way there. So that's a pretty good party.
LSU, here's a little secret. If you ever want to crash an LSU great party, go to the reserve water tank right next to Gramercy Reserve.
Right.
And that whole street is blocked off by like LSU food. And I'm telling you, the food is absolutely amazing.
Great cooks. I love going down to Louisiana and eating some of the great stuff. All right, look, anything else you noticed in the football game last week?
Well, inconsistencies. And I think that's what drives Saban absolutely bonkers. Just the inconsistent play, not being ready for the looks. And I just think he's dealing with a lot of adversity this season that he has not seen in a while.
No doubt about it. And for all of you guys that are watching on YouTube, on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel, Bob and Iceman from Central Florida, roll tide, everybody, as you hang out with us on radio across the state of Alabama and Pensacola. Great to have all of you guys here as well, talking football. All right, Chris, final thoughts. Give me how can people find you and listen to your show, which comes on every morning? I love the show, by the way.
Thank you. First of all, we've been doing Alabama sports. Let me kind of use that as an operative word here. Sports, not just the football program, but you're going to hear some basketball. This year, we're going to be introducing some of the ladies' sports. So it's what I would say, if you're an Alabama fan, we have every piece of Alabama product out there on the radio station. It starts off with our great friend, Paul Chestnut. What a pro, this guy.
Yeah, great, fantastic sports guy.
My old friend, but he absolutely does the Sports Roundtable show at 11 o'clock in the morning. He kind of sets it all up.
Yeah.
You know, he brings in the Alabama crew for the local input within that show. We are on the app. You can listen to us worldwide. Just go to the WPNN app, and you'll find us there. Also, 103.7 FM and 1450 is on the FM. On the other side, this is 790 AM on our side. We have two stations.
Yeah.
And we've split the stations. So on our station at WPNN, we're responsible for Alabama.
Yeah.
Everything Alabama.
No doubt.
And so that's what I pride myself on. And so glad season's here. I was going through withdrawals.
Oh, hey, shout out to Scott Schroeder, Zach, of course, legendary dad, Papa Don Schroeder.
Yeah.
And then a station that I think is fantastic. I've really loved getting to know all of you guys, and you're coming back when I'm coming back. Can you do that?
Absolutely.
All right. Chris Bryan from WPNN in Pensacola. Mike and Dexter, Iceman, all you guys that are talking on here, Brock, thank you guys for hanging out with us. And when we come back, it's going to be Jake Coker. He knows all about what it takes when you lose and you go through a quarterback battle to help rally the troops and bring home the championship. He did that when he beat him and his team, which was star-lated, beat a really great Clemson team in Arizona in 2015 and 16. We'll have him on when we come back. More Bama Tailgate Show right after this.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hi, Barry Buckner. It all adds up. Every time a Tuscaloosa Hyundai customer refers a friend or family member to come see us, we are truly grateful. I compare it to doubling a penny for 30 days. Believe it or not, by day 30, that one penny is over $5 million. Now that's adding up. I remind every Tuscaloosa Hyundai team member, it's only a satisfied customer who will give you a referral. That ultimate compliment earned by effort and excellence. And Tuscaloosa Hyundai has all the tools. A new vehicle lineup to meet any driving need. Premium pre-owned under 100,000 miles that we stand behind with our exclusive 1,000,000-mile warranty. Award-winning service, a company that values being named best of the best by our community. But above all, we are sincere in earning the trust that leads to a customer referral, and trust is priceless. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove, TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
Hey, this is Reagan, owner of R&R Cigars, the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, located at 2703 6th Street across from the Home 2 Suites. Come down to R&R and see why we're the ultimate cigar and bourbon experience. With over 165 bourbons and 5 private barrels, our selection of bourbon is unmatched. We have the best cocktails around, and our cigar selection is legendary. Our lounge and service are world-class. Come and experience the luxury of the mansion and see why it's a world-renowned cigar and spirits destination.
Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
This is my great escape,
where there's real gaming excitement.
And I can be who I want to be.
In a sea of slots.
Taking in the big pots.
And always doubling down.
Our friends ask, what do y'all do at Pearl River Resort?
No work.
All play.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Just keeping it real, baby.
Real players.
Real winning.
Real fun.
At Pearl River Resort.
Welcome back to the original Bama Tailgate Show, getting you ready for Alabama and the Bulls of South Florida. The Crimson Tide looking to rebound after that tough loss to Texas, 2:30 at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Hey, let me remind you guys that the show is brought to you by Yuengling Lager. That's right, Yuengling, a sixth-generation American, very proud American beer company. Cheryl Yuengling, who is a graduate of the University of Alabama, puts a little bit of crimson love in each one of those green bottles. This time of year, though, you got to try the new Oktoberfest. Also, the Yuengling Hershey's Porter is out just in time for the holidays, as always. And if you're looking for something light, kind of an alternative to Mick Ultra, try Yuengling Flight. It's great. It's low carbs. It's crisp and a great beer at a tailgate. Great to have Jake Coker join us for our segment here. Today's matchup is powered by Genesis of Tuscaloosa. Jake and I team up on the Roll Tide Pods. You can find that on YouTube with the Elephant in the Room podcast. We do that twice a week, and I had to have you on my radio show to talk some Bama, but Roll Tide, man.
Roll Tide. Can't wait for this weekend. South Florida. I think we find some continuity at the quarterback position and, really build some confidence moving into that Ole Miss week. It's going to be a heck of a matchup, and really can't wait to see how Jalen develops in the next week.
Yeah, and you're a guy who won quarterback job with kind of a group of guys fighting it out. You've been through this before, and then you took the team to win a national championship. You had a great group around you, but they couldn't have done it without you, and that was obvious by the way that things were before you kind of took over the role, and that's the same process that Alabama's trying to go through again.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure in this moment. Being the starting quarterback at Alabama is a kind of a momentous part of your life. It can definitely change a lot of things moving forward, and I think these guys, are working, trying to build towards that. And again, Jalen, I know we saw some struggles against Texas, but I think he rebounds. I think he kind of shows the Alabama fan base what he can do, and I'm hoping we can see some more of that running ability this weekend, and as well as developing that pass game. I think he's a lot better than what most people have given him credit for, and I look forward to seeing that this week.
Yeah, look, it's a big game, and we haven't seen Alabama dominate it like they were against Texas. How hard is it going to be for these guys to turn the season around right now and make this the type of campaign that they were hoping for when they kicked off that first game?
I think we've seen, especially from former players, that, we want to see that culture back. We want to see that dominant, bullying Alabama football culture back, the one that Coach Saban built back in 2007. We want to see guys, play just relentless defense, relentless offense, blocking guys to the finish, making tackles, being that guy who just dominates in every phase of the game. And we need to get back to that. That's the culture of Alabama. That's the culture of the state. That's what we want to see. We're in Alabama. We're a football state. Alabama's the superpower, and that's where we need to get back to.
Hanging out with Jake Coker, Mick Gillispie here on the original Bama Tailgate Show from the Flora-Bama, Perdido Key, Orange Beach. This is where we're going to be for every single Alabama road game this year, and we're glad that you guys are hanging out with us as we talk Alabama and South Florida, a game that's kind of a weird matchup where Alabama would go somewhere. It's a 2-for-1 deal, and I get it. There's a recruiting element to this. We'll talk to Andrew Bone later on in the show from Bama Online and On 3 about why that's a recruiting hotbed. But you don't see Alabama play many games like this. I'm thinking of the last time that they went on the road to, a spot like this would be when they played Duke, back in maybe like 2010.
Yeah, man, Duke. North Carolina, not a real big hotbed, but Tampa is. I know there's a lot of talent in that area. We're not so much talking about the matchup. Look, I mean, if Alabama has an issue or a tough time with South Florida, we're in a lot of trouble. So, the whole goal here is to dominate. That's the expectation. We should dominate South Florida. It is what it is, and we need to get those recruits in the building, see that we're still Alabama, and prove to the nation that we're still the dynasty that Coach Saban has built since 2007.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to kind of get an idea today how that message came across to those guys. What was it like in the locker room? What was it like in practice? How motivated is this particular Alabama team to get a lot of things that they did wrong right? And there were a lot of problems. You're talking about, losing the turnover battle, the interceptions that led to 10 points. You had, it was like 10 penalties and 2 of them brought back touchdowns. So you lost that. And Texas is one of the only teams in the country that hasn't had a turnover. So you didn't get a turnover against Texas. The offensive line, you got to snap the ball better. You got to block better. Your quarterback's got to be able to see the field a little bit better. I mean, it's not just one guy here. It's an entire team that has a lot of work to do if they're going to reach their goal to win a national championship. And I feel like today's game is the first step in seeing what direction this team and what step they're going to make after having a horrible setback.
Yeah, Mick, you and I have talked about this on the Elephant in the Room podcast. I don't know how many times, but we don't need to hear any more quotes. We don't need to hear how good you are. We don't need to hear anything about the game plan. We need to see you dominate.
Right.
And you're Alabama. You go in there, you dominate South Florida, and you continue that trend throughout the season. Nobody's going to care, what you've been through or what you've done in the past. You dominate this year, you make it to the playoff, and that's the Alabama standard.
Yeah, no, well said. Well said. And again, Roll Tide Pods, Elephant in the Room, Jake Coker and me, Mick Gillispie, we do shows twice a week on there where we talk Alabama. And then, of course, always hanging out here on the original Bama Tailgate Show. Innisfree, we're going to be in Tuscaloosa when Alabama plays Ole Miss next week. What a great home schedule this year. Put your fan hat on, Jake. You got to like this home schedule. I know we didn't win against Texas, but then you got Ole Miss and you got LSU and you got Tennessee at home. I mean, these are some pretty good matchups.
Yeah, I know I've told you this before, but I've got about a 10-week-old daughter at the house. I'm trying to pick one game to make it to, and I'm having a hard time. I think it's between Tennessee and LSU, but after that Florida State loss that LSU had, I think I'm leaning towards Tennessee.
Are you? So you want the better matchup?
That's right.
Well, tonight we'll find out what Tennessee's all about. Tennessee takes on Florida, and that's in Gainesville. 7-point favorite. But the entire SEC hasn't looked good this year.
No, they have not. And, it's kind of shocking to me that Florida is only a 7-point dog in this one. That's the one I've got circled on my calendar for this weekend. I look forward to seeing what Alabama's going to do against South Florida, but, hopefully, again, that's not one that we're talking about, next Monday in a disappointing fashion. So I'm really looking forward to Tennessee and Florida. I look to see that Florida quarterback kind of coming into his own and hopefully keeping it close. Tennessee hadn't looked too good versus the opponents they've had so far this year. So, we'll see. They're replacing a quarterback that was, upper echelon kind of guy. And I know Milton's got a great arm, but I'd like to see him complete a few more passes and look a little bit more cleaner.
When Jake Coker comes to the Flora-Bama, what kind of bushwhacker do you like? What's your drink selection like when you come to the Flora-Bama?
Oh, I like the bushwhacker, but I got to stay away from the topper. The topper is a dangerous move.
I don't like the float. You know the story about me with the floaters, right? I didn't finish a show one time. I didn't know. I blame John McInnes.
I'm looking at your studio. It surprised me that you may not have.
No one told me that. No one told me about that. But yeah, what is it? I mean, when you go there, what's your Flora-Bama experience like?
It depends. If McGinnis is there, it kind of turns into a nightmare. But as long as I can stay away from Paul Register and John McGinnis, I tend to have pretty good nights.
Yeah, they know how to throw a good time. Hey, we appreciate the Flora-Bama for hosting us for the road games when Alabama is away. We're at the Flora-Bama, and we do the show. The secret is that we record the show Friday night at the Flora-Bama from 5 to 7, just in case you wanted to know that. But that's kind of like with Andy Griffith, you watch the show when you watched it back in the day, and it's in front of a live studio audience. So Alabama and South Florida going to be a chance for the Crimson Tide to kind of right the ship going into the SEC schedule. Jake, always great to see you. And again, everyone check out Jake and my podcast, Roll Tide Pods. And that is Elephant in the Room. You guys can catch us. We do very long-form Alabama football conversations. When we come back, we're going to talk more football. We got Thom Abraham from the Thom Abraham Show in North Alabama coming up. We'll talk with Andrew Bone next about recruiting. more Alabama and the Alabama Tailgate Show coming up right after these
Yingling,
words.
America's oldest brewery, has been making beer in America for 6 generations. And for nearly 200 years, we've been all about bringing the good times. By hand, by foot, by bike, by bikers, by fanny pack or jetpack, by whatever means necessary. With Yingling Traditional Lager, good times taste even better. Yingling, bring the goods.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Immerse yourself in the continuing dynasty of Alabama football with The Legacy Continues, a visually striking image from artist Daniel A. Moore. This sequel to Moore's 1992 sold-out painting, The Crimson Legacy, features iconic moments and memorabilia from the last 30 seasons of Tide football. Don't miss your opportunity to own this lasting tribute sure to be cherished by Bama fans for years to come. Pre-order The Legacy Continues now at danielmooreart.com.
Hey y'all, it's Jennifer from the Flora-Bama, and we're excited that football is back. The Flora-Bama is proud to support Alabama football, and we invite you to join us at Flora-Bama Old River Grill for a game day experience like no other. We have over 40 TVs and a brand new game day menu that includes endless wings, Santa Fe egg rolls, street corn nachos, and so much more. Bring your friends and join us for all the college and NFL games. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, open at 11 a.m. daily, right across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. PG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
This is My Great Escape,
where there's real gaming excitement.
And I can be who I want to be.
In a sea of slots. Taking in the big pots.
And always doubling down.
Our friends ask, what do y'all do at Pearl River Resort? No work.
All play.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Just keeping it real, baby.
Real players.
Real winning.
Real fun.
At Pearl River Resort.
Fire them up. There you go. Band's playing. That means, it's time for the original Bama Tailgate Show with Andrew Bone. I'm Mick Gillispie. Our show is brought to you in part by newlifeart.com. Promo code Bama Tailgate. So if you want to get one of those prints like Bone has, and I've got here in my studio, you want to pimp your man cave, Bama Tailgate. Alabama and South Florida, huge matchup on the road for Alabama, 32-point favorite against the Bulls. How weird is this matchup, Bone? It's got to be recruiting. That's why we did this, right? And let me tell you this, too. Andrew Bone, part of On3, and Bama Online. Great to see you, brother. This has got to be a recruiting matchup.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, Alabama certainly, has recruited that area pretty well. Tampa, what's around there, Bradenton, Florida, home of IMG Academy. So, there's a lot of top talent in the Tampa area. You look at a lot of these games in the past where Alabama's gone and played these neutral site out of conference games, whether it's in Dallas or Atlanta. And those are those have always been recruiting hotbeds, or turned into recruiting hotbeds for Alabama. Over the last several years, and Tampa, I mean, South Florida, I mean, the whole area. I mean, it's a place that Alabama is going to continue to recruit, and they're going to continue to have success. You're obviously having some more competition down there than maybe in years past with Florida State, with their success with Miami. I think Florida obviously with Billy Napier, but I think with this NIL era, we've seen some of those programs been able to land some exceptional recruits, and they've all obviously got great recruiters down there as well. But Alabama wants to continue to have success in the Tampa area. They had success there last year, getting Keon Keeley. This year, Joseph Ionata out of Calvary Christian Academy, who's also going to be at the game today. You got also Jameer Grimsley out of Tampa Catholic, top 100 defensive back, is a top target for a lot of schools still, including Florida. Florida playing Tennessee this weekend. Instead of going over to Gainesville for that game, he's going to be over at Raymond James for the game for Alabama between South Florida. Another big target, Solomon Williams in Tampa. Carolwood Day, one of Alabama's top targets in this 2024 recruiting class. Obviously, the IMG guys, they're always going to be targeting those players. But I mean, I think it's recruiting purposes. You're going to see South Florida fans there. Obviously, you're going to see Alabama fans there. But I think you're going to see a lot of people in the area who just want to come out and see that game because it's pretty rare for Alabama to make their way to Tampa to play in a college football game, especially during the regular season. So you're going to get a lot of people out there that aren't necessarily fans of either program. They just want to see the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Andrew Bones with Bama Online, and obviously part of the On3 Sports Network, and he's been coming on this show for a long time. Always great to see you, Bone. You and I both are proud Alabama alumni. That was a tough game on Saturday. How did recruiting go? I know the game didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to against Texas, but what about the recruiting part of it? How did those visits turn out?
People always think that, a loss is, really going to affect your program. A bad loss is going to affect your program. And I don't necessarily, I know, trust me, I'm in it. I see all these guys, all these people on Twitter, on our message boards, out in the community, they're upset. And, they're upset about the loss. They're upset the way Alabama lost. It's a 10-point loss at home. I mean, it's been a long time since something like that happened. But listen, Texas is a great team. They're a college football playoff contender. There's no doubt about it. They've recruited well. They've recruited the transfer portal well. They've got great coaches. They came in, not scared. And I think Alabama obviously got some things that they can work on. But at the end of the day, there are things that they can work on. They can improve on, and they can get better, and they could potentially, you line them up against Texas one more time. Let's say in 10 weeks, might be a different story. You just never know. So I guess it'll be a little bit longer than 10 weeks, but we could potentially see a different Alabama football team. There's a lot of talent on that team, and I think recruits, Alabama fans, Alabama coaches, Alabama players, they're going to be more disappointed about the loss than recruits are. Don't really care. Recruits see a great atmosphere. They're around a lot of a lot of other potential players that they're going to play with at the next level. But they're also seeing potentially a way for them to come in and make an impact, to get on the field. So, and that's what Alabama's, going to be selling them on, coming in, trying to contribute early in their career, telling them, hey, we need help here. We need help there. Why don't you come in and, be that difference maker for us? And, that's what a lot of recruits want to hear. They want to hear that they, have an opportunity to come in and play. They don't, for years, the funniest thing about Alabama recruiting, schools recruiting against Alabama used to be, you're not going to play at Alabama for 2 or 3 years down the road. A lot of times that was a negative impact on some of those kids just because they're like, well, this school's telling me that I'm not good enough to play at Alabama. Well, I'm going to go and prove to them that I am. Now, Alabama is saying, oh, they don't have the same type of players that they do. They're going downhill, all this stuff. So that's what these opposing coaches are now telling recruits, hey, they're not as deep. They're not as talented. They're not going to win national championships. Mm-hmm. Well, why don't I go and help them do that? And I could potentially make a contribution early in my career there. So talking to all these different recruits that were in Tuscaloosa this past weekend, myself and Joseph Hastings, it was all positive. I mean, it was all positive. You didn't hear anything negative. Talking to different commitments, talking to top recruits who are in town. Jordan Seaton, who's one of Alabama's premier offensive line targets in this class, made a surprise visit to Alabama this past weekend. He raved about his visit, excited about trying to get back up for the Tennessee game next month. George McIntyre, number 2 quarterback in the country, also in town in that 2025 class. Juju Lewis, who's the number 1 player in the 2026 class. Jakeem Stewart is the number 2 player in the 2026 class. Talked to both of those guys on Wednesday night, and they had nothing but great things to say about their trip, and they certainly expect Alabama to continue to have success, a lot of success moving forward. One game not really going to change their opinion. Now, I think what we're all obviously going to have to watch is how's Alabama going to respond.
Yeah,
everybody expects Alabama to win against South Florida. They're 32-point favorites. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
they're expected to win. What are they going to do the rest of the SEC schedule? Against Ole Miss, against Arkansas, against Tennessee, against LSU.
Yep.
Those are the games that are going to define Alabama's, the rest of their season and, potentially, the next year or so on the recruiting trail, how they respond, because everybody's telling them right now that they're done, that the dynasty's over. Nick Saban should retire.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff. It's
a lot of criticism.
And Nick Saban embraces it. And
I know
we saw that when Alabama got beat by Ole Miss, back-to-back years. That and I think Coach Malzahn was supposed to be the guy that ran Nick Saban out of the state of Alabama. I mean, we just have heard, Ed Orgeron was the new king of the SEC West. I mean, just so on and so on.
That video I used to play.
Look who's still around. And just because they lose a game by 10 points doesn't really, I don't think it's going to change much. I mean, Alabama, they're still going to recruit as well as they do. And let's just see kind of what happens over the course of the next 2 months. See what happens, because this could easily.
Maybe this lights the fire, Bone. Maybe this lights the fire. Well, Bone, always great hanging out with you. And let me remind you, Bone, you're a family guy. You like to do fun stuff. Tuscaloosa. Visit Tuscaloosa. You got lots of stuff going on there. The Tuscaloosa Farmers Market takes place every Saturday at the Riverfront Market, 7 to noon. You got the Tuscaloosa Civil Rights Trail, which is a self-guided tour with now 18 stops around Tuscaloosa. Bone, you're a big concert guy. Me too. Tuscaloosa Amphitheater and Druid City Music Hall, and some of the best barbecue in the country. Visit Tuscaloosa.com. And when we come back, we'll talk more Alabama and South Florida. The tailgate show, the Bama Tailgate Show, rolls on right after this.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hi, Barry Buckner. It all adds up. Every time a Tuscaloosa Hyundai customer refers a friend or family member to come see us, we are truly grateful. I compare it to doubling a penny for 30 days. Believe it or not, by day 30, that one penny is over $5 million. Now that's adding up. I remind every Tuscaloosa Hyundai team member, it's only a satisfied customer who will give you a referral. That ultimate compliment earned by effort and excellence. And Tuscaloosa Hyundai has all the tools. A new vehicle lineup to meet any driving need. Premium pre-owned under 100,000 miles that we stand behind with our exclusive million-mile warranty. Award-winning service, a company that values being named best of the best by our community. But above all, we are sincere in earning the trust that leads to a customer referral. And trust is priceless. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove, TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
Hey, this is Reagan, owner of R&R Cigars, the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, located at 2703 6th Street across from the Home 2 Suites. Come down to R&R and see why we're the ultimate cigar and bourbon experience. With over 165 bourbons and 5 private barrels, our selection of bourbon is unmatched. We have the best cocktails around, and our cigar selection is legendary. Our lounge and service are world-class. Come and experience the luxury of the mansion and see why it's a world-renowned cigar and spirits destination.
Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip, the best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
This is my great escape.
Where there's real gaming excitement.
And I can be who I want to be.
In a sea of slots. Taking in the big pots.
And always doubling down.
Our friends ask, what do y'all do at Pearl River Resort? No work.
All play.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Just keeping it real, baby.
Real players.
Real winning.
Real fun.
At Pearl River Resort.
Second hour of the original Bama Tailgate Show is brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. And let me tell you guys this, our good buddy Barry Buckner and the gang at Tuscaloosa Hyundai, they're going to outfit me with my next car. Part of these cars, Hyundais, are made right here in the state of Alabama, TuscaloosaHyundai.com. And now let's talk about the SEC driven by Tuscaloosa Hyundai in this segment with our good friend Thom Abraham. 97.7 ESPN The Zone in Huntsville, North Alabama. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that football game on Saturday. What'd you think?
Well, there are a number of things that are stunning about it. And I don't want to sound like, that fan that's on the message boards that's losing their mind and fire everybody and everything else. But there were some things that were really shocking as we watched this football game. Let's start with the offensive line. I mean, this offensive line, we were sold that this was a road grader line that was going to come downhill and blow people off the ball. They averaged 350 pounds a man and so on. But 350 pounds a man is no good if you can't move. Earlier this week, I had Mike Johnson on my show, a former All-American offensive lineman from Alabama, who's now a talk show host in Atlanta. And he played at 300 at Alabama. And there, you have to kind of mix that agility in there. And it didn't seem to be a very agile offensive line. Mm-hmm. And it didn't seem that there was a lot of stamina there because, they came out, they ran the ball well in the first quarter, averaged over 6 yards a carry early on. You don't get the feeling that any of the running backs, whether it's Chase McCullen or Roydell Williams, is going to break a long one. It's not going to have, it doesn't feel like they're going to take one to the house from 50 or 60 yards away. You do get that feeling with Jalen Milroe. The only problem is that they seem content to not running Jalen Milroe on quarterback design runs. So I was concerned about the offensive line. And then on the Milroe side of things, I don't understand. It feels like Tommy Rees is calling Tyler Buckner's offense with Jalen Milroe in there.
Right.
And I know that Texas went in defensively, very concerned about Milroe on the run. And at some point in time, they must have realized they're not using this guy as a running quarterback or as threatening us. He's listed in the stats as having 15 runs. 5 of those were the sacks. So you take those out. Now there's 10 runs. 7 of those were scrambles. There were only 3 plays that were called for Jalen Milroe to actually run the ball. And I don't get that. It doesn't seem to make sense to me. It's like putting a guy that looks like me on TV instead of radio. You do what they do best, and we're not seeing what Jalen Milroe does best. So those things were concerning. Having said all of that, end of the third quarter, they take the lead 16-13, and it felt like, all right, stop screwing around. They're going to put the clamps on and win this game by 10 or 12 points. And Texas comes right down the field in 3 plays and goes 75 yards.
Yeah.
So this is all stuff that we have been conditioned to over the last 15 years to not accept or not understand. And that's the concerning thing about it. Now, it's not the end of the world, but it was very concerning to see the way this game unfolded. And I haven't even mentioned the 10 penalties after, looking so good in terms of being able to line up and play against Middle Tennessee. I mean, twice we had a veteran center double clutch a snap. What was that? I mean, it was like there were Mercer in there, playing a game and they were intimidated playing in their own building. They seem to be more intimidated, more anxious, if you will, than Texas. Texas seemed to be better prepared, honestly, better coached. The play calling from Steve Sarkisian, he was playing chess while Tyler Buckner was, Tommy Rees was playing checkers. It just seems like they were beating every aspect. It just feels that way.
Yeah, no, I thought so too. The turnovers, I thought that Milroe looked like, with Matthew McConaughey on the sideline, he was dazed and confused a lot in the pocket. It just, nothing about this game felt like any other loss that Nick Saban's had. This one felt like a Mike Shula loss, even to the lead in the early fourth quarter and then just get destroyed in the fourth quarter. And then the way that they ran the ball out at the end of the game and Alabama couldn't get it back. So this is a concerning loss for me just because of the way that Alabama played poorly all over. And we just haven't seen that. I mean, they've lost games over the years, but nothing like this. How can they get it turned around, and will they get it turned around?
Will they? Well, they can get better. I certainly can get better throughout the season. And again, we're talking about a different kind of standard because what happens if they lose another game along the way and they end up 10-2 and get a nice bowl win and they're 11-2? The problem is none of that works for Alabama fans and the expectation and what the standard is. You got to make the playoff. We've never seen a 2-loss team make the playoff. So what's their option? Run the table. I mean, that's their only option is run the table. And even if they were to lose along the way and say get to the SEC championship game at 7-1 and then even beat a 12-0 Georgia, depending on what goes on with the other conferences, I'm not certain that an 11-2 Alabama SEC champion would necessarily get into the playoff. because of the fact that the SEC has already come out of the chute 3-6 in games against other P5 teams. So it feels like there's a little bit that if there is such a thing as a down season for the SEC, it feels like through these first couple of weeks that it might be down a little bit. So they've got to run the table. So can they do it? Yes, they can do it. Again, the penalties are fixable. I would not be surprised to see Booker playing a lot in this game, or in this game, or Buckner, I should say, not Booker, but Buckner playing a lot in this game. It's going to be very interesting to see the way they come out against a USF team that they're totally overmatched against. But they need to play, that perfect type game like they did against Middle Tennessee. And then we go into the Ole Miss game, and let's see what that looks like against an Ole Miss team that's explosive offensively, has some issues defensively, and we'll learn a lot more. I don't think we learn anything this week unless the team goes in there and has another 10 or 12 penalty game and Jalen Milroe is throwing bad interceptions because on misreads. That would be really bad.
Yeah, I think that the question is right off the bat: are we going to see Buckner? And I don't know. I mean, I wish we would have seen him a little bit against Texas just so that we have an idea who he was, because to me, Milroe is a guy you should use. I don't think that he should ever be benched. Maybe just not the starting quarterback, Maybe you use him like Florida used Tim Tebow, where he's a weapon. But you got to be creative to do that. And there was nothing about that offense against Texas that was creative at all. Right.
Yeah. Zero creativity. I can't think of any misdirection. It was, we thought after the middle game, okay, they just used page 1 of the playbook. That looked like that's all they got is page 1 of the playbook. And I mean, it was really stunning. And they did nothing, quarterback draws, something to take the starch out of that pass rush from Texas. And, it wasn't like Texas lined up and sent the house all the time. They were beating them with 3 and sometimes, 4-man rushes against a 5-man front. And it seemed like they were on top of Milroe immediately. Now, I don't want to put it 100% on Milroe because, like I say, I don't understand why he's not on the perimeter more. I don't understand why they're not doing some more option things with him, straight running him. You said Tim Tebow. I'll say Taysom Hill from the New Orleans Saints. To me, I think that would be a role that would be very useful for him to be putting him in different positions. Mm-hmm. We don't know if the kid can catch a football. We don't understand. We don't know any of that. It would not shock me, though, if Tyler Buckner came out and took the first snap against South Florida. And if he doesn't do that, it would not shock me at all as to whether or not he gets meaningful time if this game, before this game gets out of hand, if it gets out of hand. The Tide are, a 33, 34-point favorite today in that game. So it would not surprise me. I don't think you see him just in mop-up time. I think you're going to see him earlier in the game than we had seen in the past. They got to see this. They got to put it on film. They got to see what they got.
Mm-hmm. Look, the SEC hasn't been impressive overall. I mean, Texas A&M lost to Miami, Bama lost to Texas. And these games, physically, the SEC teams have not. They've gotten their butts kicked. I mean, LSU destroyed by Florida State. It feels like the transfer portal and NIL have changed the landscape.
Yeah, and quarterback play in general. I think the league is down in quarterback play in general. And don't forget Ole Miss and Tulane. That score is very deceptive. Tulane was handling them. I mean, that was it. Tulane was very physical with Ole Miss. They were taking care of business. They didn't have their quarterback, and Ole Miss scores late to put it out of hand. But so that was another one there. Auburn had to come back in the fourth quarter to score a touchdown against a bad Cal team to win that football game. It hasn't looked great. It's not a great look for the SEC. It doesn't mean it's a small sample size, but this is when you play all these non-conference games, and this is when you play the better non-conference games. The non-conference games that are left are mostly cupcake type games. I look at the ones against P5s, 3-6 against other P5s. So I think that's going to take a little bit of the luster away when you get into those tiebreaker scenarios when they start weighing up, a 12-1 Big 12 champion against an 11-2 SEC champion or whatever those different things are. When they look at, they're going to say, well, Texas went into Tuscaloosa and won easily, and LSU got hammered by Florida State, so we give Florida State the nod over whoever might be coming out of the SEC or a second team out of the SEC. So I think it's a dangerous time right now for the league. And I think these teams, I think Alabama and LSU are in the same boat. They got to run the table, period, end of story. Maybe, Georgia, what if Georgia were to lose the SEC championship game with that popcorn schedule they're playing?
And none get in?
Yeah, and at 12-1, we just assumed that Georgia, if they go 12-0, they're automatically in because of an SEC schedule.
Yeah.
But who knows? Their game today against South Carolina getting a lot of points in that game. If South Carolina hangs with them a little bit and, it looks like maybe Georgia isn't as great as we thought, I don't even know 100% whether you would think a 12-1 Georgia team will get in. But if they were to go and get whacked in the SEC championship game, who knows? So
who knows?
All you can do is take care of business week in and week out right now.
Yeah. Thom Abraham, host of the Thom Abraham Show. Tell people how they can follow you, Thom.
Follow me on X at Thom Abraham Show is a great place to follow me there. And then, of course, the Thom Abraham Show every day, noon to 2 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and on the Zone's app as well. We got an app which also has 4 more streaming channels along with our over-the-air channel. So there's all kinds of great content there. And you can follow the show every day, 11 to noon to 2 Central Time.
Awesome. Well, always great hanging out with Thom. We'll do it again next week. And don't forget, from Flora-Bama, that's what the show is every time.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hi, Barry Buckner. It all adds up. Every time a Tuscaloosa Hyundai customer refers a friend or family member to come see us, we are truly grateful. I compare it to doubling a penny for 30 days. Believe it or not, by day 30, that one penny is over $5 million. Now that's adding up. I remind every Tuscaloosa Hyundai team member, it's only a satisfied customer who will give you a referral. That ultimate compliment earned by effort and excellence. And Tuscaloosa Hyundai has all the tools. A new vehicle lineup to meet any driving need. Premium pre-owned under 100,000 miles that we stand behind with our exclusive million-mile warranty. Award-winning service, a company that values being named best of the best by our community. But above all, we are sincere in earning the trust that leads to a customer referral. And trust is priceless. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove, TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
Hey, this is Reagan, owner of R&R Cigars, the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, located at 2703 6th Street across from the Home 2 Suites. Come down to R&R and see why we're the ultimate cigar and bourbon experience. With over 165 bourbons and 5 private barrels, our selection of bourbon is unmatched. We have the best cocktails around, and our cigar selection is legendary. Our lounge and service are world-class. Come and experience the luxury of the mansion and see why it's a world-renowned cigar and spirits destination.
Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You've heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip, the best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
This is my great escape,
where there's real gaming excitement.
and I can be who I want to be.
In a sea of slots. Taking in the big pots.
And always doubling down.
Our friends ask, what do y'all do at Pearl River Resort? No work.
All play.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Just keeping it real, baby.
Real players.
Real winning.
Real fun.
At Pearl River Resort.
Back on the original Bama Tailgate Show as we talk to you across the state of Alabama, getting you set for Alabama and South Florida, always brought to you by Yuengling Lager, America's oldest brewery. And, of course, our friend Cheryl Yuengling, sixth-generation Yuengling, graduate of Alabama. And she puts a little bit of Yuengling love and Crimson love in each one of those Yuengling bottles. And Reagan at R&R has all the different ones, including Oktoberfest, and he's got the Hershey's Porter and Flight and all of them over there. So as we talk to Reagan from R&R Cigars, don't forget, you can go over and get a cigar and also a Yuengling there. And our segment with Kenny White, the Wizard of Odds, and Reagan is brought to you by Pearl River Resort. That is our little slice of Vegas right here in the South, and less than a 2-hour drive from Tuscaloosa. So it's always great to see you guys. Tough loss for Alabama last week, but let's see if we can get on track with some picks here. And I'm going to start with a game that I'm really interested in seeing, and I'll let you jump in first, Reagan, but Tennessee is at Florida. The Gators are a home dog, and they are getting 7.
I picked this one earlier today on one of the shows. This one is wild. This one's weird for me. I think that this is a must-win game for both schools.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee is ancient. Like, every starter on Tennessee is like a senior, a redshirt senior. I hate to pick it. Like this one, I really don't like. It's tough. This one is really tough. But it's a rivalry game. Weird things always happen in rivalry games. I don't believe Tennessee is as good as people want them to be. I'm going to take the Gators and the 7 points and close my eyes and kind of peek through as I'm watching the game.
Yeah.
But, I don't feel good about it. But I'm going to take the Gators.
Yeah, and it's the night game tonight, so that'll be a lot of fun to watch as you're winding down. And there he is, the Wizard of Odds out in Vegas, Kenny White and Kenny White's Power Ratings. I love reading the Power Ratings, Kenny. Let's get started with this one right here. Tennessee at Florida. I said last week I love a home dog.
Yeah,
what do you say?
I love home dogs too. I'd much rather take the points here. This game is really tough, as Reagan said. Tennessee's the better football team. Josh Heupel in his third year did a great job last year. 11 wins. They did lose their quarterback Hendon Hooker, and I'm not sure about Joe Milton. That's my question mark. Is Joe Milton really the guy? We'll find out in this game, because going on the road, hostile environment, tough place to play. I'm leaning to the Gators. I'd rather have the home dog going. I really like Billy Napier and what he's done. Graham Mertz was like, everybody was like, question, why does he want Graham Mertz? Well, Mertz is completing 74% of his passes, 8.6 yards a pass, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. He needs obviously to throw more touchdowns, and a big part of that completion percentage was against McNeese State. But I'm going to go with the Gators here at home, getting the 7. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, look, I would tend to agree with both of you guys, but I've been terrible this year. Like I've been awful. Like last week I lost every game. And so I'm going the opposite of what I would normally do, which is I would normally take Florida, the home dog. But, I'm going with Joe Milton and this high-powered Tennessee attack. Tennessee's only won down in Gainesville, I think, like twice ever. And through good or bad, Florida always seems to play them tough. But I think Tennessee's the better football team. And I as Reagan said last week, and I probably should have listened to him, don't overthink it. When he was taking Ole Miss against Tulane, Tulane's quarterback went out, but that turned out to be the right pick. All right, here's the second one. Kenny, I'm going to let you go first. This one's a lot of fun. Game day is in Colorado for Colorado State against Coach Prime and the Buffaloes. And it's a 23-point spread right here. But Colorado has caught the attention of the country with Deion and his crew.
Yeah, sure have. Deion did a great job bringing in players. I knew they were going to be a good team. I did bet on the Buffaloes week 1 and in week 2. I had them both games. I thought they were the better team, thought they were the value. Did not disappoint. But now I think it's overinflated. They're playing Colorado State. This is Colorado State's biggest game of the year. They have this game circled every year. And these two teams have not played in 4 years. After playing 25 straight seasons in a row, they have not played in 4 years. The Rams want this badly. Jay Norville's the head coach of Colorado State. He's in his second year. He came from Reno, and he did a great job at Reno. He's got a high-powered, up-tempo, fast-paced offense. They throw the ball on every single down. This game is going to be 38-35, maybe 45-42. It's going to be extremely high scoring. I shouldn't say it's that close. I don't think it's going to be that close. So Colorado's going to win 50-38 in that range. There's going to be a ton of points scored, but I think Colorado State stays within the number because of a couple things. I think Colorado's going to be a little full of themselves, and they play Oregon next. They could be looking ahead to one of their biggest games of the year next week. So I think they got this one, especially when they see their 23-point favorite. We might see a little bit of a letdown from Colorado.
All right, Reagan.
Look, Deion Sanders better beat these teams while he can, because the schedule's about to get real. I don't believe in what he's doing in Colorado. I really don't. Great job getting the fans, getting the people in the stands. The antics are, the antics. I guess that's what you have to do if you're at Colorado to get people excited about Colorado. I don't want to see Deion Sanders in Tuscaloosa. I think people need to slow their roll. I'm not ready to I'm not ready to put Saban out to pasture to bring in Deion Sanders. Congratulations on beating TCU with 3 starters coming back. Congratulations on beating the Sisters of the Blind last week. I mean, wow, Colorado State, boy, what a matchup. He better beat them by 23, because if he doesn't beat them by 23, I don't know, the shine really starts to wear off. What does he do when he doesn't have his kid playing quarterback? There's a lot of questions that I have here about Colorado, about Deion Sanders, and about Deion Sanders' sustained success. Having said that, this isn't the week for Deion to get humbled. I think that's next week, and I think that he's eating a huge amount of humble pie next week at the hands of a terrible, terrible absentee father. Terrible, terrible person. Next week. I couldn't imagine abandoning my child, but some quarterbacks do. So I am going to go with Colorado in the 23 points today.
Yeah, look, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to take Colorado in the 23. I just feel like Deion is the talk of college football right now, and that these guys are motivated. I don't think Colorado State is that good. I think that Kenny's right. I think it's going to be a shootout, but I think Deion will purposely try to cover the spread because, the fact that he's got game day there and all of the different things that he's been able to accomplish with this program. But it's only 2 games in, and I can't wait until they play Oregon. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, well, let's talk about the last game on the slate, and we'll start with you, Reagan. Alabama at South Florida. You're a guy that has a little bit of a Tampa tie, not a South Florida tie, but a Tampa tie. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, I have a lot of questions about what happened on Saturday, especially on the offense. I'm not ready to throw Jalen Milroe under the bus. There might be a couple other guys I'd be ready to throw under the bus. Hopefully we learned a little bit of stuff from the Middle Tennessee State game and the Texas game. I hope. Maybe we'll see Milroe under center. I doubt it. Maybe we'll run a running play not out of the shotgun. I doubt it. Maybe we'll bring in extra tight ends to block when our pass protection's bad. I doubt it. So all of that being said, again, don't overthink it. Even Alabama, as bad as they played versus Texas, who had, by the way, 8 starters on defense over the age of 22, I think Alabama will absolutely destroy South Florida. I'll take Alabama in the 32 points.
All right, I'll pop in, and then Kenny, you go last. I'm taking Alabama. They better cover this spread. I'll just put it like that. There is a lot of, like you said, Reagan, questions about the team and the program right now. And I think Alabama's – I think they've got to cover, and they've got to do a lot more right here coming up, not just covering spreads, but blocking and not turning it over and not having penalties and, on and on and on and on. Better game plans. A lot of this stuff reminded me of Mike Shula. I'll put it like that, Reagan. All right, let's bring Kenny out. Kenny, as you make your picks, and then I want you to tell us, maybe give us like one of your, give us a pick on this. Give us something that you would play this weekend, and tell everyone how they can get the power ratings.
This game's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see how Alabama responds to an early season loss. Saban has been tremendous on the road covering spreads, 62-48, 110 games. That's his teams are ready when they go out on the road. South Florida, not a very good football team, brand new coach. They're going to play up tempo, passing offense. This head coach Alex Golish came from Tennessee underneath Josh Heupel. So that's what type of offense they're going to play. The Tennessee offense. They're going to be the air raid. And they're going to go fast. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game, but I think Alabama can score at will again on the ground. They will not need to throw the football. They'll be able to run it, and they should be able to win by 35 in this game. So mark me down for Alabama. I like the over better, but for the contest, Alabama.
Okay.
And the power ratings come out. Colleges come out every Monday, NFL every Tuesday. You got every projected final score of every game. I update the win totals for every college team and every NFL team. And if you buy those, you get the baseball every single day. That went out this morning. Couple winners already. Pittsburgh and first game of the day in the morning had a big difference on the total, and it went easy today. So you get all that for $20 a month. $20 a month, less than $1 a day. Gets you the power ratings and all the plays you want in NFL and college football.
All right, thank you, Kenny. And Reagan, tell us what you got going on at R&R Cigar.
Well, got some new cocktails. I've tweaked our old-fashioned to make it, I think, one of the best old-fashions that you can find. I have created a brand new cocktail called Liquid Crack in honor of Hunter Biden. And this cocktail is made with Cuban coffee. And if you've ever had Cuban coffee, it's quite literally crack. So it's a great cocktail. Got some new beers. The Oktoberfest beers are starting to roll in. We've got the NFL Sunday Ticket, so you can watch all your favorite NFL games live at the mansion. And we'll be here till 1 a.m. tonight watching college football and watching hopefully the Gators cover, so that I have another week where I'm at the top of the leaderboard. So
we get the standings board next week, guys.
5-2. So
yeah, I'm bringing the standings next week. Well, thanks. Thanks. I'm not great. I'm doing more work here. Reagan from R&R Cigar. I'm Mick Gillispie. When we come back, we're going to talk Alabama and South Florida from the Flora-Bama. Be right back, guys.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hi, Barry Buckner. It all adds up. Every time a Tuscaloosa Hyundai customer refers a friend or family member to come see us, we are truly grateful. I compare it to doubling a penny for 30 days. Believe it or not, by day 30, that one penny is over $5 million. Now that's adding up. I remind every Tuscaloosa Hyundai team member, it's only a satisfied customer who will give you a referral. That ultimate compliment earned by effort and excellence. And Tuscaloosa Hyundai has all the tools. A new vehicle lineup to meet any driving need. Premium pre-owned under 100,000 miles that we stand behind with our exclusive 1,000,000-mile warranty. Award-winning service, a company that values being named best of the best by our community. But above all, we are sincere in earning the trust that leads to a customer referral. And trust is priceless. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. Tuscaloosa Hyundai, corner of Skyland and Hargrove, TuscaloosaHyundai.com.
Hey, this is Reagan, owner of R&R Cigars, the Cigar Mansion in downtown Tuscaloosa, located at 2703 6th Street across from the Home 2 Suites. Come down to R&R and see why we're the ultimate cigar and bourbon experience. With over 165 bourbons and 5 private barrels, our selection of bourbon is unmatched. We have the best cocktails around, and our cigar selection is legendary. Our lounge and service are world-class. Come and experience the luxury of the mansion and see why it's a world-renowned cigar and spirits destination.
Check out Pawn Royale at 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport. The summer season is almost over. Time to go to Pawn Royale and find some amazing deals. Right now, our lawn and gardening inventory must go. That includes mowers, trimmers, blowers, chainsaws, you name it. Pawn Royale has deals on everything. Many items at cost or less. If you're in the market, come make a deal. That's Pawn Royale, 1019 McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Unique on the Strip. It's the best place to watch sports.
You're not even kidding. 11 TVs, NFL and MLB package, NHL, EPL, and so much more. If you want a game, they have it.
Now they're doing weekly NFL Pick'em, winners every Sunday, and grand prizes on Super Bowl Sunday.
And we haven't even mentioned the drink specials.
Of course they have daily drink specials. You can see them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Unique T-Town every day.
Unique on the Strip. The best place to watch sports in Tuscaloosa.
This is my great escape,
where there's real gaming excitement.
And I can be who I want to be.
In a sea of slots. Taking in the big pot.
And always doubling down.
Our friends ask, what do y'all do at Pearl River Resort? No work.
All play.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Just keeping it real, baby.
Real players.
Real winning.
Real fun.
At Pearl River Resort.
Welcome back to the Flora-Bama as we get you ready for Alabama and South Florida.
She's the best. Hey, Mick.
Steve Powers.
What up, my
on.
friend?
Yeah, I mean, let me, before I bring you on and start talking football, let me remind everyone, number 10 Alabama playing South Florida, 2:30 Raymond James Stadium, and that the show is presented by Tuscaloosa Hyundai, the Elantra, the Sinatra, or an SUV, like the Tucson, tailgating Doesn't get any better. Well,
Love
Steve,
the tailgate.
With the Flora-Bama, I like the polo. I need one
Thanks,
of those
buddy.
polos,
What
man.
size do you wear?
I wear large, extra large in there somewhere.
We can make that.
Yeah, are they big? Are they big fit or are they small?
Let me ask you this. Are you wearing the same size shirt you did when you put that photo up just a minute ago during the commercial break? Because was that 20 years ago or what was it?
No, man, that was so you're talking about on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel, right? Some people were watching while some people were listening.
Got it.
And you were talking about my gorgeous headshot.
Yeah, you look so good. You look so good. But it had to be 20 years ago.
No, come on, man.
It had to be. Listen, dude.
Great to see you, brother.
Great to see you. Football season here. Does it get any better?
No.
It just doesn't.
I love rolling into the Flora-Bama, and now that I'm semi-local, I boat in some.
Yeah.
My son will say, Dad, can we go to Florida? And I'm like, what do you mean the Flora-Bama? He's like, yeah, the Flora-Bama.
Yeah, the Florida.
So I'm like, all right, Sunday, but we're here today, and it is every time I walk in here, man, the vibe here is killer.
It's great, isn't it?
Yes.
I love it because I think people just come here and it's just it's like a vacation.
Yeah.
Right? Most people are in vacation mode. Even if they're local, they're like going to the Flora-Bama and let's just hang out and have fun. And everybody's most of the time in a good mood until they've had too much to drink and then it gets later and then we escort them out. But
or when your team gets destroyed by Texas. Wow. That's a whole nother story.
Wow.
All right, before we talk about that.
Can I tell you? Let's bring this up, though.
Okay, bring it up.
Patty, my lovely wife, is a Texas Exus. She went to the University of Texas.
Really?
Yes.
So it was a good win for her.
Let me finish. We're upstairs during Bulls on the Beach, which we had here last weekend, and we had to get the game on the TV upstairs, so we did. The entire room was Alabama fans.
Right.
The entire room, and she was so good. She was so proud of herself because she grew up. She's the only one in the family that went to University of Texas. All her other brothers, her dad, her grandfather went to A&M.
Wow.
And so it was tough, but it was a tough loss for sure, man.
The thing that I want to reiterate to, and we've talked about it on my YouTube channel, and I'll say it on here, is Alabama fans have always been taught, at least I know when I went to school there, to respect your opponent.
That's
and
right.
Congratulations. Deserved it. They deserved it, I mean, I'm ready to move on, but I hope Texas has a great year.
I think they will.
I hope we see them again.
Here's what I
That'd
know.
be great, right?
Here's what I know about every Alabama fan. They're not used to losing.
That's it.
And sometimes if you win so much that
you get spoiled, don't you?
Well, you get spoiled, but then you find a reason why they lost. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not saying everybody's complaining about the refs or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's just it's an expected win.
We've talked about
it's an expected win.
We've talked about this on the different shows ad nauseum, and that's penalties and turnovers and the bad snaps and the quarterback play and the freshman offensive lineman and the defense not getting pressure on the quarterback. And,
right.
There was a lot of things, and so today's game's important because I want to see how Alabama responds to that. And no, it's not official. I don't know what's going to really happen.
Today, man.
I don't know what's going to. I don't know that Jalen Milroe isn't going to start, but my gut feeling is, and the reports, it's going to be. It's going to be Buckner, and if that's the case, that's fine.
Right.
I hope that Alabama just realizes that Jalen Milroe needs to play. Now, I don't know if he needs to be the starting quarterback. I don't know that he doesn't. I just know that you can do a lot of things with the talent that Alabama has, which by far, by the way, is the most talent in the country. They need to take care of that. And but let's save our Alabama talk. I mean,
okay. I
know it's a hard topic right now for a lot of us.
Right.
But Steve, with you here,
yes,
I got to ask about tailgates. It is the Bama football tailgate show. Best tailgate song and drink.
Best tailgate song and drink.
Yingling, is it my tailgate?
Yes, I think you've got it.
But not a beer. Let's just do something else. Drink wise.
So can we start with the drink?
Yeah, let's go.
I'm going to go with Yucca.
What's that?
I thought you would know this. Yucca is a 1-gallon jug full of ice, a full bottle of tequila, 3 or 4 limes and lemons cut up and squeezed in there, half a cup of sugar.
Really?
That's all that's in it.
Yeah.
And here's why I like it, because during the tailgate, you're standing around, right?
Yeah, we're tailgating right now. Steve's still
So the 1 gallon jug is wrapped in a towel.
Yeah.
All right. And my job is to shake it for 2 or 3 minutes. And when I get tired of it, I'm going to hand it to Chris.
Yeah, you'll hand it to Chris.
And he's going to shake it for 2 or 3. He's going to hand it to you and shake it for 2 or 3. Now,
I'm coming to this tailgate.
Here's when you know when the yucca is ready. You pull the towel back a little bit, and it's actually frozen to the side of the 1 gallon jug.
Really?
Use a plastic jug.
Yeah.
All right. But here's what happens next. You take the lid off, and I take some, and then Chris takes some, and then you take some.
Yeah, we just go
and
around
it goes
the room.
around the room.
Okay.
It is the best tailgate drink that I can think of, because that's what we do at tailgate. It's community. You're hanging out. You don't have to, go throw your beer away or go get another one. It's just, and we did it on the beach in Aruba at one point. We've done it numerous times. And I don't know the origin of it.
I don't know either, but I love the concept. All right, well, let me ask you this. You program the Flora-Bama iHeart radio station, right? Which I love. We've been sitting in here listening to it.
Yeah.
What's the best tailgate song?
I think it's got to be a mix. I don't think you can just say one song.
You
right?
have like Steve's tailgate mix.
Yeah. I think you got to have a mix. And I think if you're smart, you're gonna represent, like we do here at the Flora-Bama, country and classic rock and some dance in there.
Yeah.
No EDM, so you wouldn't like it, because I know you're a big EDM fan. But I think the country and classic rock, and if it's
you
the
have
right
all
mix,
the musics, right? Country
we
and
have all the
Western.
musics, country and Western. Yeah, exactly right. So I think
I do love country and Western.
I think you can do Toby Keith,
right?
American kind of stuff at tailgates. I think you can do AC/DC, no problem. I think you could even go back and do Gary Glitter, Rock and Roll Part 2.
Man, we should work it out where you
right?
I think
because everybody knows the words to that. It's hey.
We should figure out
That's a great one.
We should figure out some kind of promotion where the grand prize is that you come and DJ somebody's tailgate.
Count me in.
That would be so awesome.
And I'm bringing yucca.
And bringing yucca.
And everyone's going to sign a liability, because I'm not responsible for what happens after yucca.
No.
I am not, but we got to do that, Mick. That's a great call, buddy. I love that. I love it, man.
This is the Bama Tailgate Show, guys. If you don't know about us, YouTube, you can hang out there, or across the state of Alabama and Pensacola on radio. Roll Tide on game day. And we're talking with Steve Powers from the Flora-Bama as we hang out here. By the way, this is our home when Alabama's on the road.
Absolutely.
I'm not leaving anymore.
You don't have
right
no,
here.
you don't.
Right here. All right. Give me the environment, Steve. A game day environment here. What's it like?
I would go to Old River Grill in a minute. There's 40 plus TVs over there. They came up with this new menu, endless wings.
Oh, I love that idea.
All endless wings.
So you just eat them. I mean,
all day.
All you can eat.
It's like $29 to eat all you want all day.
Really?
Oh, it's great. There's Southwestern egg rolls.
That actually is a great deal.
It is. And there's street corn nachos. Street corn nachos are like my favorite, because they're done really well and then covered in shrimp.
Right.
And so it's a whole menu over there. I would do that before I watch it at the Flora-Bama main. Right. We have so much music going on.
Yeah.
We never have the audio of the game. And a lot of times, as a real football fan, you want that audio.
Yeah, no, I got you.
So that's a perfect game day environment, for me over there at Old River Grill, for sure.
All right, I'm going to take the party down for a second.
Okay.
But I got to ask you this question. So many of us have been just heartbroken over Mobile's and, the Eastern Shores and America's Jimmy Buffett being lost.
Yeah.
And when I think of Jimmy Buffett, I think of Bama Breeze, and I know he would pop up in here and play. What's the vibe been since we lost Jimmy Buffett here? Everybody
is absolutely relying on memories to make them feel good, because that's what Jimmy wanted, right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't want you to sit there and mourn and be sad. He would want you to sit around and have a margarita and talk about the great shows you've seen. And that's really what Patty and I did that immediately. Man, we've seen some great Buffett shows, including one here on the beach after the BP spill. He was the first one. You were there too, Chris. Amazing show on the beach, right? And so I think you go back and realize how lucky we were to see some of the things we've seen. We've seen him at the wharf so much. Right. We've seen him in a lot of environments.
Yeah.
Just an incredible man, and caring, and had 6 dogs, and just a great human being, right?
You love him.
And knew how to live life, man.
Right.
And I think if you can take anything from that, you go, man, if I could live like Jimmy did, absolutely, we do it. And here's what's cool. there's a big, and I mean big, thing coming in October with like thousands of parrot heads here on the Gulf Coast, a lot of it at the Flora-Bama. This is like inside information I'm giving now.
Yeah.
Towards the end of
tipping us
October,
off.
it is going to be crazy. Like they're bringing in their own bands. It's like this
Like Parrot Head
organization,
Fest
dude.
or something.
100%,
Dude,
man. So
that's
we're looking
awesome.
forward to it. But yeah,
I'm glad you told me that.
yeah. Well, I'll make sure you get on the invite.
Yeah,
for that
you
too.
always take care of me. All right, Steve, you stay around. We got to talk. We got to talk about the Alabama game
Absolutely.
when we come back.
You got it.
All right, the original Bama Tailgate Show coming right up after this quick message.
Yuengling, America's oldest brewery, has been making beer in America for 6 generations. And for nearly 200 years, we've been all about bringing the good times. By hand, by foot, by bike, by bikers, by fanny pack or jetpack, by whatever means necessary. With Yuengling Traditional Lager, good times taste even better. Yuengling, bring the goods.
Autumn brings vivid colors to the back roads and hollows of Sevierville, Tennessee. Wind your way to quaint country churches, a historic covered bridge, and even a pick-your-own apple orchard. This fall, the best views are yours on Sevierville's Rocky Flats Fall Driving Tour. Learn more and find additional fall drives to enjoy at visitsevierville.com/fall.
Immerse yourself in the continuing dynasty of Alabama football with The Legacy Continues, a visually striking image from artist Daniel A. Moore. This sequel to Moore's 1992 sold-out painting, The Crimson Legacy, features iconic moments and memorabilia from the last 30 seasons of Tide football. Don't miss your opportunity to own this lasting tribute sure to be cherished by Bama fans for years to come. Pre-order The Legacy Continues now at danielmooreart.com.
Hey y'all, it's Jennifer from the Flora-Bama, and we're excited that football is back. The Flora-Bama is proud to support Alabama football, and we invite you to join us at Flora-Bama Old River Grill for a game day experience like no other. We have over 40 TVs and a brand new game day menu that includes endless wings, Santa Fe egg rolls, street corn nachos, and so much more. Bring your friends and join us for all the college and NFL games. Flora-Bama's Old River Grill, open at 11 a.m. daily, right across the street from the world-famous Flora-Bama.
Barry Buckner for Genesis of Tuscaloosa. You heard it said, affordable luxury. But when it comes to affordable service, every new Genesis we sell comes with 3-year, 36,000-mile complimentary service. If you want to pay more, that's your business. If you want to save, that's our business. GenesisofTuscaloosa.com.
Ownership limitations may apply. See your retailer for details. Genesis reserves the right to change program without notice. Exclusions may apply.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. PG Yuengling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Tuscaloosa is Alabama's ultimate sports destination and a place for outdoor enthusiasts to thrive. It's a community rooted in history and one that's on the cusp of a burgeoning art scene too. Tuscaloosa is vibrant, it's charming, and it's familiar. Its people welcome you with open arms and warm hellos into a community that's tied together. Tuscaloosa is our home.
This is My Great Escape,
where there's real gaming excitement.
And I can be who I want to be.
In a sea of slots. Taking in the big pots.
And always doubling down.
Our friends ask, what do y'all do at Pearl River Resort? No work.
All play.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Just keeping it real, baby.
Real players.
Real winning.
Real fun.
At Pearl River Resort.
Final segment of the original Bama Football Tailgate Show from our home here at the Flora-Bama, hanging out with Steve Powers. I'm Mick Gillispie. Steve, as this thing starts to wind down, thoughts on Alabama? Are they going to cover the 32-point spread today?
I think yes. Why?
If they didn't, wouldn't you be worried?
Yes, because I really think it's like a little PO'd still from last weekend, obviously, and you got to take it out on somebody, right? And I think that's what's going to happen today. I mean, they cover that spread easily, I think. In fact, I know they will. The quarterback situation has me going, right? And I think it has every Alabama fan going,
right.
Where are we going? And why is it such a secret of who's starting and,
I
and
think
who's
the
going to be
same
there?
thing, right? I feel like it's not fair to the players. Like, let them know Monday who's going to start.
Unless you don't
know.
Ready. Unless they do know and they trust them to keep it that quiet.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then great. But why wouldn't you let the media or the Alabama fans know who's going to be starting? And there's got to be a reason for it, because with Nick Saban, there's a reason he does everything, right? There's
That's
nothing
right.
by chance.
No.
Nothing by chance. So I think it's going to be a good game for sure. Good game meaning Alabama fans are going to be celebrating again instead of, thinking about last weekend or whatever it was too.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that Alabama better take care of business.
Yeah.
I think that it's time to stop committing the penalties and stop turning it over and getting a pass rush. And I don't know that this season can turn out the way that the other seasons have, because I just don't know if Alabama, if the coaching is not outside of Nick Saban, going to be good enough to get these guys to where they need to be.
Okay.
You got a young offensive coordinator. It's not Jalen Milroe's fault that the offense didn't do well. It's that
I don't think they ran
you had an
plays
offensive
for
lineman
him,
tipping off
right?
the other team that whether you were going to run or pass, because he was a true freshman and where he was positioned.
Right.
He had a center that wasn't snapping him the ball. Look, he contributed to it. He could have been a lot better, but I just felt like watching Sarkisian. I mean, that's what we used to do.
Right.
We used to be able to do that. We'd set you up and all that. So I don't know. I just think that Alabama's got to get better in a lot of areas, or this is going to be one of those seasons where they build towards something. So what I want to see is a ferocious pass rush. I want to see attention to detail.
Yeah.
I want to see turnovers. I want to see crisp passes. The receivers, I thought, did a really good job last week when they got an opportunity. I want to see more of that.
Texas was fast.
Yeah, they fast.
They were fast and big, and they came out ferocious, right? I mean, they did, and that is what you want to see. But was that offensive plan in place for the quarterback?
It looked like two runs into the line and then a pass. Like
right.
And people were booing.
I don't think it was built around that quarterback. I think it was built around, hey, we can be successful with this.
Right.
If we have, but if you take the skill set of Jalen and go, hey, did we build it around him? I don't think so.
Well, and I feel like that's why you needed to play a little bit of Tyler Buckner last week, just so that you have an idea of what he looks like.
Right.
You don't have that, so now he might start today.
Do you want to put a wager?
Well,
on who's starting?
I'm going to say it's probably him, but I've said that all week, and the reason why is that your offensive coordinator is a 31-year-old guy who was his coach at Notre Dame. He just probably has a ton of other things that he's worrying about, and having a quarterback that understands his system is going to make his life a little easier.
Right.
Have you ever worked for
it's
a
like
boss?
taking a page from Dion. He brings his son in. He knows what he's going to do. Right.
He's been coaching this guy since he came out of the womb.
So that part's done.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point for sure.
Have you ever worked for a person like Nick Saban, a coach like Nick Saban?
Man, I wish I did.
How cool would that be?
I wish I did, because you got to have that discipline. But again, with Nick Saban, everything is for a reason. It's very specific.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because he's mad that play didn't work out. It's because he knows you can do it better, and he's going to drive you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just anger getting thrown out there on the field. I think it's well placed when he gets upset. And I think the players receive it correctly and probably feel the same way he does about it. Like, yes, you're right. I could have done that better. So, no. I wish I had somebody in my life growing up, going through radio and all of those things that would hold you so accountable that you decided to hold yourself accountable even more than you ever would. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah, listen, I know why recruiting's so good. with Alabama, just because Nick Saban's there.
Yep, because Nick Saban is there.
Yep.
All right, Steve, great to see you again, and we'll do it again next week.
Are you back next?
Or next road game. So it wouldn't be next week, but next road game.
All right.
I don't even know what that is.
Dude, you're welcome here anytime. You don't have to bring your equipment all the time. You can always just show up if you want. I'll still buy you a beer.
I normally show up on the boat when I do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at
usually get
October
a note about
7th.
it. So you're back here October 7th?
Yeah.
That is a weekend before. Okay. Yeah. That'll work out.
Yeah. Is that cool?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll do it again.
Buddy, thanks for having me.
Thank you, man.
It's going to be a great season. I'm glad it's back. I'm glad we're ready to roll.
Yeah. And I've had a blast here. And I want to again thank Yuengling Lager, a 6th-generation company, very proud American company. Cheryl Yuengling, our good friend, went to Alabama. She's part of that ownership group. She puts a little crimson love in each one of those bottles.
That's awesome.
Try Yuengling Flight if you're looking for an alternative to Mick Ultra. And don't forget the Flora-Bama. Live music on 3 stages daily. Opens at 11 a.m., closes at 3 a.m. You can't beat that. You got free bingo Monday through Friday, 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And
it's like you're an employee, Mick. Holy cow, look at him
get
go,
the Bushwhackers.
Man.
And we've got to go over there to get the pumpkin Bushwhackers.
Yes. Yeah. They're out now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're out now.
You get those little pumpkin candies on them. I love those things, man. It's so good.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. And roll tide, everybody. We will talk to you again next week.